are now in SFO on our way to Vegas for the week, where we'll be at the eBay Open. We just got in and our flight isn't until another 4 hours. Came a little early so we can get some dinner and then do a lot of work. For me, I feel like doing work, I have to be put in position, as opposed to like if I'm at home and I can derp around doing other things, whether it be playing Pokemon or taking care of other things like inventory. But now that I'm here in the airport and there's nothing else we can do, I'm just going to be editing videos for the rest of the day before we take off. We just found out that we're in the what we call the not so nice terminal side. It honestly looks like the apocalypse happened on this side. Everything is like not stocked. The stores don't have much inventory. I talked to the woman behind the counter and she was telling me that they're actually shutting this terminal side down for renovation. I guess we're just gonna do work for the next 3-4 hours. Wife's grabbing dinner right now. We're gonna eat up and then we'll take off in 4 or 5 hours. And then we'll meet up with my little bro who's in Vegas in a couple hours. He gets in a couple hours before we do. Maybe do a little bit late night gambling tonight and then wake up tomorrow and prepare for the eBay Open. I just got notified that we are delayed 35 minutes. So it looks like we'll be here for another 4 hours then. So it's about 9:35 right now. The plane has just came in. Our flight doesn't leave until 10:05. It's delayed about a half hour, but we're, after being in the airport for about 4.5 hours. I think you've done some work, right? You got some caught up in work. Took up some nap. Caught up on some YouTube as well. I edited like 5 videos. I'm working on an archive video, but it was made use of the time, and we are finally on our way to get to Vegas. Unreal Truth, my bro, is there already. He's probably checking in right now, but we should be touching down around, I'd say 10:30. And what are you doing? So we are finally landed in Vegas. We're about 30 minutes late, later than we were supposed to landing. The temperature in the airport at SFO was freezing. We were wearing like a jacket the whole time, and then you land like halfway through the flight and you're like, wow, you can feel the heat just emanating. And as we step off onto the bridge, it's just like you feel like the heat just pouring in. We're gonna grab a lift to the hotel, check in, and then we'll see how we feel, if we're gonna call it a night or meet up with Germs, my little bro, see if we want to play the tables for a little bit. But we're finally here in Vegas, and vacation has officially started, but not really, because we gotta go to the convention tomorrow and do work and all the good stuff. But hey, we're here in Vegas and we're here to have a good time, although we're a little exhausted. I think we both took a slow little nap. It's funny that everyone was sleeping well until like the last, I'd say, 15 minutes of the flight, and then we hit like a little turbulence, and everyone like woke up immediately, like jerked awake. It was a really big turbulence. I know you were like chicken. Grabbing like that the handrail. I was like, whatever. We're on the plane already. If anything happens, you know. Good morning, everyone. It is Tuesday morning. We are headed to the eBay Open for registration right now. It's about 10 o'clock. Got in super late this morning. Was only supposed to play till 1. Ended up playing till like 3:30 because I was up. I didn't want to leave until I gave some back, I guess. Anyways, slept all right to this last night. It feels really, really soft here in Planet Hollywood. That's where we're staying. But it is very warm out here. It's very nice and toasty, huh? Yeah. It's beautiful outside. There's not too many people right now. As you can see, the strip is pretty empty. Well, given the fact that it is a Tuesday in the middle of the summer. I don't think anyone wants to be out here in the middle of the week, especially if it's like 100 degrees outside. Yep, that's right, guys. Triple digits this week in Vegas. Why do we even do that? Why do we even punish ourselves? Well, we're used to it because we're from Davis. I went to school in Davis, so 100-degree weather is normal for us. But we have a trek across to all the way to Mandalay Bay, which is on the, I'd say, the end of the strip. We're about halfway point. Actually, a little bit more than halfway point. We're gonna grab some supplies at a CVS, get some water and stuff like that. I didn't get my coffee because I'm not quite awake. And then we're gonna meet up with little bro and his sister, who's just recently got engaged. So congrats to her. We haven't seen her in a while. And then we're going to go on about our activities for today. We got a show tonight, and I think we're eating that buffet at Wicked Spoon. I'm super excited about both of those. We're gonna be watching Ka tonight in MGM, which is one of the Cirque du Soleil shows. All right, quick update. It is now Wednesday. So last night, Tuesday, we ended up going to Wicked Spoon Buffet in Cosmopolitan. Fabulous dinner. Everybody had a good time. We went up with my little bro's sister and her fiance, hung out with them for a little bit. After dinner, we made our way to MGM Grand, where we watched the show Ka, Cirque du Soleil. And I can tell you right now, Ka was rated one of the first or second best Cirque du Soleil show on the Strip. And I can see definitely why, because the show was amazing. It was simply mind-blowing. Some of the acrobatics and acts there was just unheard of. The environment was amazing. It felt like you were in Universal Studios and on set of like a movie. It was so intense and really well done, really well polished. And we all had a great time. Everybody loved it. We had the seats were a little bit closer to the front. We were like in the second and fourth row, but I think we'll be able to see everything and take in everything. It was a great showing. So that was last night. We ended up gambling a little bit afterwards, and then today in the morning, my wife and I headed to the eBay Open, the first actual day of the convention. Not gonna lie, we kind of fell asleep during the general session, where a lot of the VPs and all the people were announcing some of the products. Not to say that the content wasn't great, it's just I think the delivery was a little dry and boring. We were a little tired, so we ended up sleeping. I'd say napping through it all, especially since the venue was a little dark. They dimmed it down for just the projectors and the main stage. So I'm not gonna lie, kind of like relaxed in my seat and took a couple quick naps with my wife. And then we went to a couple of workshops after lunch. We didn't stay for all four of the workshops because my wife pointed out that isn't all of the workshops the same as tomorrow. And since I only wanted to go through like a handful of workshops, only needed to go to a handful of workshops, I figured it's best if we just split it up. We have to go to the convention center anyways tomorrow because we have our Biz Boost appointment. Essentially, that's where the company eBay goes into our account and looks at how we're doing everything, and then gives us recommendations of how to boost our sales, how to optimize listings, and all that good stuff. They essentially give us a sweep of how to improve our business. So we'll be at the convention center anyways tomorrow. So might as well split the workshops in two. So we have two planned for tomorrow morning, and then we'll have lunch and then go to our Biz Boost appointment. So I'm pretty excited. I think the whole convention, first of all, the convention is huge. There's no surprise why they had to book Mandalay Bay, because Mandalay Bay has one of the biggest convention centers in all of the Strip, and the eBay Open took a whole ton of space because they have the general session, which is just like the main stage. They have different workshops, so they have like rooms, and then they have the main room where all the sponsors are trying to show you how tools. And there's also where you're eating. It was a really huge convention, and it's just a lot to take in. And a lot of people might be wondering, like, if you paid so much for the tickets, why don't you stay the whole time? Not all the things that they're presenting, like the sponsors, are actually applicable to my business, because we're not at that large of a scale as other businesses on eBay. We don't have full-time employees. We don't have a multi-million-dollar business that's running. So we can't fully utilize all those tools and like sponsorships and all those innovations that people are adapting, because we're just too small of a scale, and that's okay. We're okay with that. We came into the eBay opening just hoping to improve our business little bits and tidbits, because we don't plan on taking our eBay site to be lifting off anytime soon. We just do it for passive income, just a little bit here and there, help pay for student loans that my wife is trying to get out of, and then once in a while a vacation. Being able to even go to this convention and spend a week in Vegas is because of our passive income through eBay. It pays for itself in a way. So tonight we're getting dressed right now. We're about to head out to the Rio. We've just had dinner. We had Bruxy's. So if you haven't had Bruxy's, it's like a chicken and waffle sandwich spot in Vegas.
If you've been to the Strip, it's right behind Shake Shack, which is also another great spot that I recommend. So we've had dinner, kind of at a bit early dinner because we didn't really have like a solid big lunch. And we're gonna head out to the Rio, which is kind of off Strip. We're gonna lift over there, and then because we've never been to the Rio, we're gonna check out the whole hotel, see if the WSOP hasn't shut down yet, because that's where the World Series of Poker is held every year. And then since we're a little bit early to our show tonight, which is Penn and Teller. What's going on, everybody? I am back from Vegas. I'm actually at a Pokemon League Cup tournament right now at CFB. But just want to wrap up the recap of what happened in Vegas. Wednesday night, we ended up going to Penn and Teller at the Rio. I want to say that Penn and Teller, I've watched them on TV for a long time now. I really admire their magic skills and their sense of humor. They really know how to put on a show. But to be honest with you, I wasn't super thrilled with the show. Possibly, I think the major factor is that I studied magic while I was in college. I did a couple of magic shows back then, and I kind of know how some of the tricks are done. And for me, magic isn't about, watching it. It's about learning how to do it. And that's what's interesting to me. I know a lot of people, when they watch Penn and Teller, they're like amazed. They're super excited about it. They love it. For me, it was all right. For the price that we paid, which is like $111, it was so-so for me. It just wasn't, it wasn't for me, I'd say. I did it because it was an experience and I wanted to check it out. And I did that. So I can't complain without that. So that's what happened Wednesday night. Thursday night was the last day that Germs and his family and his girl were there. Thursday, we went to the eBay Open. We finished the last day of the eBay Open. Went to a couple of the workshops. We actually missed one of the workshops in the morning because we were running a little bit late. We kind of slept in. But that's fine because they recorded the workshop that I wanted to watch, so I'll watch it later on when I get a chance this week. But I did go to one of the workshops that I wanted to go to, and we also had our Biz Boost appointment. So the Biz Boost appointment is essentially where they go into our accounts, look over everything that's happened over the last year or so, and they give us feedback of, what can we improve, what are we lacking, what can we work on, and it was really insightful. Some of the things we were unaware of, and some of the things that we were completely aware of just because of how our work is. I was honest with the guy. I was like, a lot of this stuff we can fix with pricing, with updating listings. We just don't have the time right now. We're really busy people with our work, our schedule, and we're out of town a lot. So it was very insightful, and maybe we'll take a little steps along the way in order to improve that. But I think overall, them looking at our accounts, both of our accounts, was very great, and I think it was worth the while. Wrapping up the eBay Open, it was a great experience, well worth the money, especially if you are invested in eBay, like if you are really doing eBay at a high amount. For us, it was just more of an experience to see, what we can learn. We opted for a bunch of beta things that are coming out. I'm super excited to talk about that in another video. Just can't really release it right now because we don't have access yet. And I don't really want to surprise it if they haven't announced it yet. So I think the eBay Open was a great experience, well worth the money that we paid, even though it was quite pricey. We had a great time. We had a blast. eBay Open, which wrapped up on Thursday. We didn't go to the after party at House of Blues. We had other things to do. What we ended up doing was we had dinner, a very light dinner. I don't really remember, honestly, I think we probably had Bruxies again. And this time I actually got my chicken and the original chicken and waffle sandwich. I was on my diet while in Vegas, which is hard because Vegas has a lot of good food and I just can't go crazy like I usually do. But we did have Bruxies for dinner, and then afterwards we went to watch Absinthe, which is the tent show right in front of Caesars. That was an amazing show. For the cost of that, which is $130 each, that was a show I highly recommend. If you haven't seen it, is rated as one of the best shows on the Strip. So if you haven't seen it, I definitely recommend it. We loved it so much that we actually got tickets to the sister show, Opium, in Cosmopolitan for later on the weekend. I'll talk about that later. But that wraps up our Thursday. We did gamble more at night, of course. And then Friday, we had to switch hotels. We went from Planet Hollywood, and then we moved over to Venetian. My college friends came on Friday afternoon. We had my college bro and his wife, and then another college friend. She came in. She didn't come with her husband, unfortunately. He's still working. We ended up crashing in Venetian in a suite for the rest of the week. So Friday we met up with them. Once everyone came in, we got ramen off the Strip. I didn't have ramen because once again it wasn't my diet. I had something more like low starchy, and then some chicken katsu kind of a deal. Really good. I'm not gonna complain about what I ate. And then afterwards we hung out a bit, and then we went to a showing of Shin Lim in MGM Grand. Once again, Shin Lim, if you don't know, is the winner of America's Got Talent. He's a magician. These price of the tickets are like $77, definitely affordable. For that price, I don't mind watching another magic show. Some of his stuff that I've seen on America's Got Talent was pretty amazing, mind-blowing. And it was a joint show between Shin Lim, who's a magician, and I believe his name is Cullen Cloud. He's a kind of like a mind reader. And I actually enjoyed Cullen's performances a little bit better than Shin Lim, just because of the fact, like I said, I'm not really into magic per se of watching it. I'm more into like learning how to do the tricks, so that's what's enticing to me. So the show was all right. If you haven't seen it, I definitely recommend it. It's at an affordable price point. Of course, we gambled some more afterwards, and then Saturday we hit up the pool, and then my college bro and his wife had set up a surprise lunch for us, for me and our other college friend, because her birthday is actually in a couple days, and we ended up going to Hell's Kitchen. Hell's Kitchen, if you don't know, is Gordon Ramsay's show. It's based on it, where there's like two different teams competing to be the master chef or the head chef. It's not exactly cheap. We went there for lunch, and everyone ended up getting the prefixed lunch, which included appetizer of either like tomato soup or Caesar salad, which I opted for, of course. And then the main entree was beef Wellington, and then the dessert is like this toffee pudding, which, by the way, was amazing. Everyone was full. It was a great experience. I definitely recommend it. I think the prefix meal for lunch is like $62. It is a little pricey, but definitely worth the bang for your buck. And we're definitely going to be coming back. I actually booked my reservations for Hell's Kitchen when we come back to Vegas in a couple months. So that's how good it was. That was pretty much Saturday. I believe after Hell's Kitchen, we hung out, did a little bit of a shopping. I think people took naps. We gambled a little bit more while people were taking naps, kind of like looked around. And then at night on Saturday, my friends, they went to see Tiesto. They went to see Tiesto in Hakkasan. We saw Tiesto, so we opted out for it. Just the clubbing scene in Vegas is just not for us anymore. There's a lot of people. It's crowded. It's you're squished like a sardine. We opted out for it. My wife did want to see Fantasy, which is the biggest tease on the strip at Luxor. I've seen it with Germs before, but she really wanted to see it, so I took her and I warned her, like, it's not exactly what you're thinking. There are titties, but it's not like, it's just a tease. It's not full blown. The reason why I would go is because the comedian in it is hilarious, and the hostess, she has an amazing voice. She's definitely one to watch. So I went with her. I enjoyed it again for those reasons. She also was not impressed. She was in line with me, saying that it was all right. It wasn't exactly what she was hoping for, but she did it, and it's done and over with. The experience is done, and it's affordable. I believe it was like $60, $55 for each ticket, so it was reasonable for a show. I would think it was like an hour and a half. So that wraps up our Saturday night, and then of course we gambled a little bit more afterwards. And then Sunday we hit the pool again, and then we ended up hanging out at the mall, I believe. They wanted to go to a buffet. So my college friends wanted to go to Boston Buffet. My wife and I opted out. One, I can't eat anything. I did have a buffet earlier in the week, which is at Wicked Spoon. It was really difficult to eat at a buffet when you're on a diet. So like I was just stacking up on crab, trying to get my value, as well as not trying to go over my meal allotment for the day. So it was really difficult. And going to Boston, which is more expensive, and just more fine dining food, it wasn't worth the money, so we ended up going somewhere else. So while they did that, we ate, we walked around, shopped. We ended up meeting up later to go to an arcade, which wasn't what we thought it was. It was a very small rinky-dink arcade at the mall. We ended up with one of our old college friends and his wife, who actually moved to Vegas, so it was cool to see him. We hung out for a couple hours in the mall, and then we parted ways because we had to start heading out to the Opium show, which is Cosmopolitan, which we had bought earlier in the week. This show was not as nice as the Absinthe show, but I think it was worth the price. It was I wouldn't say as raunchy as Absinthe. Absinthe was a lot more raunchier. The acts were a lot more incredible at Absinthe. This one, it was fun. It was definitely a fun experience. I wouldn't say I highly recommend it, but if you haven't seen it, I would definitely recommend it. It's definitely cheaper than Absinthe. So if you can imagine, Absinthe was way more expensive, like double the price, which is probably double the experience, which makes sense for it. So we gambled afterwards at night, and then Monday we kind of just hung out with everyone until it was our time to fly out, because we flew out actually in the afternoon. So we kind of did a last minute shopping that my wife wanted to do. She wanted to pick up a couple of these coin purses that she really liked at this ice cream shop. It's in the canal shop. So we hung out there, grabbed a little breakfast, and then just headed off out to the airport. So overall, it was a great experience. We were there for about a week. I think that's the longest I've been in Vegas, and it was great. I got to relax, a little R&R, as they say, rest and relaxation. So and then I would say that the best moments that we had was that when my college friends came, every time we had a meal, we ended up just sitting there for a couple hours, just talking about things. One, it builds a stronger relationship amongst you guys, and it's just great to stop everything and just let everything else around pass you while you just enjoy the moment. And it was great. I enjoyed it, and definitely looking forward to the next time we go to Vegas. So we just booked our trip to Vegas for my wife's birthday. She didn't really know what she to do for her birthday, so she was like, let's just go back to Vegas. So we're going to Vegas in 2 months, just for the weekend. I already have some things and surprise planned for her that she doesn't even know about. Booked some exclusive tickets, got some pre-sales for some things that are happening that weekend, and I did book our Hell's Kitchen reservation for lunch, so she's really excited about that. So that wraps up the vlog for Vegas. I will leave on a positive note, saying that I did play a lot over the week, and it's funny that I did lose a bunch, but I won overall. It essentially paid for the trip. Everything that I spent on the trip was paid by the house. So thanks, Vegas. This is like the first time it's ever happened. I'm usually down when I leave. I actually came up a very decent amount. Paid for drinks for everyone, paid for my wife's purchases most of the time, meals, tickets, and stuff like that. So it was a great time overall. Hopefully we could keep that momentum going every time we go to Vegas, and just continue to win those small little wins, $100, $200, and just stack them up over the week. But yeah, I really enjoyed Vegas, and I can't wait to go back. So until next time, guys, I'll see you in the next video.